Now we can bring our circle in just a little tighter. If you have questions, try to hold on to them until we have our regular connected conversation, which is unlike the structured portion of this model that we're utilizing.
It's a real joyful process for me. It's unlike any other community involvement that I've worked with. You engage in really interesting conversations. You hear just wonderful sharing stories. You really learn about the lives that people have in your community.
A lot of things come up where people start to see themselves, even if they have different political, spiritual, religious frames of reference, different worldviews, but they start to connect with just simple humanity. And you can see it on their faces. It's a joy to watch.
One of the challenges in normal conversation is that I can say something that triggers you or vice versa, and then the conversation can quickly devolve into conflict. And the role of our trained facilitators at the Zeidler Center is to redirect people and hold the space so that participants aren't communicating out of that triggered space.
It is the responsibility of the facilitator at the Zeidler Center to hold each participant accountable to specific agreements that we speak about in the beginning.
At the beginning of each go-around, I'll ask a question and give you a minute to think and take notes. Each of you will be given the same amount of time to speak. I'll let you know when your time is running out, so don't worry about keeping time yourself.
And those agreements are things that make room for effective communication. The facilitator's role is one of neutrality. The facilitator is not there to validate what a person is saying. They are there just to record what's being said while making sure that the conversation is being held in a respectful manner.
Well, in a facilitation role, as you know, we are kind of the go-betweens between the people that are maybe having some odds at each other, and you'd have to kind of be able to navigate that well, at the same time making sure everybody has their voice. And actually, I'm heard less out of all things, and really just making sure that people who want to talk are able to do so in a manner that's going to be equal for everybody and that everybody can get something out of.
The skill is deceptively simple when it's done well. It looks like you're not doing a lot, and it's incredibly powerful. And it takes a number of competencies or skill sets on the part of the individual. It takes confidence. You have to know the process, be well trained, and be willing to stand up for the process.
Once again, I'm going to jump in and say, really try and speak from your own experience.
So that takes courage. So you have the confidence to do it, the courage to actually carry it out and know that it will be fine, and then you have to have the competence to know how to do it.
You know, it's just the way they are.
So I'm really going to push you to try to, like, just the way they are is kind of generalizing. It's a sweeping generalization.
Often there are people who get enthusiastic, forget about the guidelines in the moment, and express strong beliefs.
When we come together in unity, yes, we can do something.
And someone else is jumping in.
I'm just kidding. You know I'm just kidding, baby.
I ain't messing with you.
Often it's people who know each other, so this is part of their habitual dynamic. And we're suddenly asking people to operate in a different way and to try to hold that space and yet not come across as blaming, judging, or scolding in any way.
I'm wondering if you could talk about a specific experience you had driving in Texas with another individual and what you saw and how that made you feel.
Part of the facilitator training is an ongoing commitment to be observed, coached, and receive feedback.
Nonverbal hand motions, usually above your chest, can be perceived as more aggressive.
I think we're doing it good now, but just remember to give the silence for the breaths. You'll get the flow, and people will depend on you to let them know when to go, but allow them to create their own flow and just be silent.
So we're asking facilitators not just to sign up for an initial training and then go forth and be wonderful facilitators, but to invest in your ongoing development of your skills.
I'm a person who starts conversations, and I'm very active in them, and I'm super outspoken. That's my personality type. So as a facilitator, it's definitely a challenge learning to shut off what I'm used to.
I've actually witnessed situations where the facilitator has voiced an opinion that colored the rest of the discussion, so I think that's probably the most important thing, and the hardest for me because I am a really opinionated person.
You have to listen with resiliency. Oftentimes, we do bring our bias, prejudice, and predispositions and attitude as a facilitator. Not that you have to leave them at the door. You don't have to be an automaton and be constantly stoic. You have to be aware of your own biases and challenge yourself.
Well, thank you all for that. So the last part, like I said, you all can think about this while you're writing. If you all could think of a parting word that you'll take with you, a parting word or a parting comment, or something that'll bring this conversation to a satisfying close.
I think the role of the facilitator in general is, for the Zeidler Center, means that I build bridges wherever I go.
What's been important is hearing that a lot of people in the community are thinking about similar issues. All over the community, we're having dialogues about issues of economic segregation, racial segregation, some of the really deep divides in Milwaukee. And I think it's important to stay engaged with that and really learn from the different components of our community.